launch. The next presenter is Kimberly Churchill and Todd for representing Children's Language Acquisition Support System.
We're actually here today to share a little story and discuss about our own experiences with our son Carter. And Carter's in the front here next to his brother Hunter. And just want to share some stories with you. No parent should ever have to fight for their child to get an education. No parent should be told that their child is better off using an iPad than using language. No parent should ever be told that ASL will become obsolete. We just realized, and we were just told, that ASL is recognized in more than 43 countries. It is a language. No parent should ever be told that their child will have no friends because other children won't know the language. Our son Carter is only 7 years old. He's extremely keen, he's funny, and he's mischievous. He happens to be deaf. He knows when he's being avoided and mistreated. He feels the pain of being ignored and excluded. And it's not other children that are doing this to him. These are adults that are oppressing him. A 7-year-old child. School officials who are responsible for setting the stage for our children to learn tolerance, diversity, and inclusion. The previous statements were all said by our school officials. The same people that we are told that we are supposed to trust our children in the education system. They must take ownership and recognize what they are doing to our child's mental health. In just 2 short years since our son started school, he has been excluded and exposed to more discrimination and oppression than most Canadians will witness in a lifetime. He is 7 years old. In kindergarten, Carter only had 13 minutes of teaching from a teacher of the deaf in a 6-hour school day. 13 minutes to learn his language and 13 minutes to learn his curriculum. While all the other children were being taught, my son sat in the classroom, surrounded by his peers, but feeling completely alone and discarded. Would you accept a child being in a classroom for 6 hours a day and only be taught 13 minutes? What makes a deaf child less valuable than a hearing child? Canada's accessibility laws must recognize sign language nationally. It would be fatal for our province and our country to overlook the urgency to protect our children's right to equitable education and language acquisition. The rights for only some are rights for none. It's time to make ASL official language.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here today to talk to you about something that's very, very passionate to my wife and I because of our son. When you're going to be a potential parent, you're faced with a myriad of emotions and doubts about yourself and your worries for the future. Am I going to be able to juggle family life and work life? Am I going to be good enough to teach my children the values they need to grow? Am I going to be able to provide for my children? Am I going to be able to keep my children safe? What you don't think about is am I going to have to file a human rights complaint? I'm sorry, it's an emotional topic. Am I going to have to file a human rights complaint so that I can get my child an education? That's not something you should have to think about in a country like Canada. But that's what we had to do. As my wife just mentioned, Carter, when he started kindergarten, was provided a deaf itinerant teacher for 1.5 to 2 hours every 7 days. That was it. He was going to be pushed from kindergarten to grade 1, grade 2, eventually to grade 12, not having learned anything. And quite frankly, I don't think the education system cares. They want to push the children through the system to graduate them with a piece of paper that essentially is worthless. So one of the things I'd like to thank all of you today in coming here is that the Honourable Member of Parliament can take a mental snapshot of the faces of this issue. Back to Ottawa, this is not a faceless issue. This is an issue that's facing ordinary Canadians like everybody here today, like our son. It's an issue that needs to be resolved. I'm ashamed as a Canadian that people in our country are being discriminated against because they're deaf. It's embarrassing, quite honestly. And I really truly hope for the future that the legislation will be swiftly put through Parliament and eventually enacted here provincially to ensure that no other deaf child will ever go to school and have to file a human rights complaint. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kim and Todd. We all know the different concerns associated to deaf children, and we are very sorry for what you have gone through.